What's going on, y'all? Johnny Wheeler Reacts. I'm Johnny Wheeler. Welcome back. Today I have another viewer request video from one of my friends in the UK of what is Hogmanay, or rather, just generally over the Scottish New Year. This is what is Hogmanay, a guide to the Scottish New Year customs. I found this one to sort of rather indulge, my knowledge of wanting to know more about it. I do know some things about it from people that I know that have spent time over there and things and live there and things of that nature. Um, so yeah, this ought to be really interesting. I hope everybody out there has had, has enjoyed their holiday, whether it be Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating. I hope y'all had a great, safe holiday with family, and I hope y'all are getting ready to have a good time in the new year. And let's all hope that 2022 brings the good news, right? So yeah, let's get into this.
Say Kilts and Culture, and we are going to talk about Hogmanay. Hogmanay, what is it? It is
Hogmanay.
basically the Scots word for end of year, and it is the world's largest New Year's Eve celebration. In fact, back in 1996-97, the city of Edinburgh was noted by the Guinness Book of Records as having 400,000 participants. And shortly after that, they had to actually limit the number of people allowed into Center City because it was getting to be too huge. So that's
Okay. So right off the bat, y'all are partying hard. I love it. Jeez, by the Guinness Book of World Records. Wow. I'm sorry about that, y'all.
that street party is really famous, but there's a lot
Yeah.
more to this holiday than you might know. So we're going to run down some of our favorite Hogmanay traditions for you.
Cool.
So a little background first. Hogmanay, in one sense or another, has been celebrated since ancient times. It inherits both Celtic fire festival traditions and traditions of the Viking winter solstice festival known as Yule. Yule was brought to the British Isles by the Vikings and before them the Anglo-Saxons, and it was basically a 12-night long winter holiday. That's where our term the Yuletide or the 12 days of Christmas comes from. In Scotland,
I never knew that. I I had always wondered where Yuletide or Yule or where that came from. Yule in general. I'd always wondered where it came from, and for whatever reason, I'd never even thought to look it up. In fact, I was just thinking about that the other day. That's pretty crazy.
they tend to call it the Daft Days, and like that name implies, this was basically a huge round of partying and feasting. When the Christian church took root, the party went on. They just made a few changes, like celebrating Christ's birth and the arrival of the three wise men. Sadly
Hmm.
for Scotland, the party got squelched in the 17th century after a bunch of nasty fighting known as the Wars of the Three Kingdoms. The Presbyterian Church of Scotland rose to power, and they had no use for Christmas or really anything fun like drinking, eating too much, or, getting rowdy. So Christmas celebrations
Uh,
were outlawed.
We Meisterburgers shall hunt them down throughout the land.
In fact, you could even be arrested if you were caught baking Christmas pies. Yeah, seriously. Thanks, John
Jeez.
Knox. Appreciate that. So, Christmas as a holiday was not celebrated or recognized in Scotland until 1958. But that's where Hogmanay came in. Hogmanay was a great way to sidestep those rules and still have a really good blowout. Redding the house. Redding the house is similar to annual spring cleaning or the ritual cleaning of the kitchen before Passover. Traditionally, during the Yuletide, no work was to be done at all, so you needed to be ready to drop all your housework before the celebrations began. Sweeping out the fireplace was especially symbolic and important, and there was a secret skill in reading the ashes to tell the future. Kind of like reading tea leaves.
Hmm.
To this day, Scottish families will do a major cleanup to get ready for the New Year's. Setting things on fire. All around the world, people feel drawn to the warmth and light of fire during the darkest time of the year. It reminds us that the sun will, in fact, return. It drives off the blues, not to mention the odd evil spirit or two. Hogmanay celebrations are rooted in ancient Celtic fire rituals, more commonly associated with spring and autumn, and a lot of creativity goes into Hogmanay fire fun. Each region of Scotland has its own twist on it. In Edinburgh, the opening event of Hogmanay is a spectacular torchlight procession down the Royal Mile to Holyrood Park. This amazing experience attracts upwards of 20,000 participants and another 20,000 spectators. And then there's the midnight fireworks show. If you think watching a ball of strobe lights drop in Times Square is pretty awesome, why don't you try this?
Real quick, when he mentioned the ball and the strobe lights, if I find that pretty amazing, honestly, I don't. It's pretty much the same thing every year. but I mean, I get it. But I mean, this would probably just totally just crap on that. Wow. Jeez. Oh yeah. Totally craps on.
Auld Lang Syne. Perhaps the most famous and heartwarming Hogmanay tradition is the singing of Auld Lang Syne. This timeless song was originally a poem written by Robert Burns, based on a few lines of a traditional tune he heard sung by an old villager he knew. As the clock strikes midnight on New Year's Eve, the singing begins. Singers form a circle, cross their arms, and hold hands. Now, Auld Lang Syne is more than just a quaint ditty. It reminds us that as time passes, only true friendship and empathy for our fellow man endures. That's what makes life worth living, whatever may come. First footing. Immediately after midnight, the practice of first footing can begin. Another ancient custom, first footing involves being the first person to cross the threshold of a friend or a neighbor's home. It's important because the first foot sets the luck of the household for the coming year. One old version of the custom involves the man leaving the house by the back door just before midnight on New Year's Eve. Then he runs around to the front of the house and at the stroke of midnight knocks on the front door. By doing this, he represents the old luck leaving and the new luck coming in. Symbolic gifts such as salt, coal, shortbread, whiskey, and black bun fruitcake are presented to the hosts. Each gift represents a different kind of good luck. In return, the householder offers gifts of food and drink to the first footer and his friends. Nowadays, first footing celebrations can go on well into the dawn hours. And since Hogmanay is officially a 3-day holiday, the parties and the visiting just kind of roll on and on and on. It's really a great time to reconnect with the people who really matter to you. Seining.
That's awesome.
Now we come to the final major custom of Hogmanay, seining. This word means protecting or blessing in the Scots dialect. It's an ancient custom that comes from the Highlands. Early on New Year's Day, householders will drink a cup of magic water. What's magic about it? Well, it's basically water that's been drawn from what's called a dead and living ford. That is to say, a river ford that is routinely crossed by both the living and the dead. This usually means a stream crossing on the way to a churchyard. After you drink some of the water, the rest is sprinkled around each room of the house, on the beds, and even on all the people who live there. If you happen to have farm animals, you're going to sprinkle them too, because they deserve a blessing too, right? After the sprinkling, the house is sealed up tight, and juniper branches are set on fire. The lady of the house then carries them through each room, letting the smoke fumigate the entire building. You know you've done a good job when everyone is sneezing and coughing like crazy. Then all the doors and windows are flung wide open to let in the cold, fresh air of the new year. The lady of the house then offers a restorative from the whiskey bottle, and everyone sits down to a very pleasant New Year's breakfast.
Nice.
Clearly, Hogmanay is a complex and rich holiday. It captures in one celebration so much of what it is to be Scottish. So we hope you'll consider embracing some of these traditions this year. Don the kilt, pour a dram for yourself, relish the pure joy of the Celtic soul in the dark of winter. From all of us at USA Kilts, happy Hogmanay.
Wow, that's very awesome. I knew about the renting of the house. I knew about that. I didn't know about the first footing. I didn't know about that one. I knew about, well, I sort of knew about it because people I've talked to that had, like I said, that had spent time over there, they knew about, um, people like knocking at the door at midnight, close to 1 a.m. They were like, "What's going on?" It was like, the first, something that's what was going on. So, um, yeah, so that was pretty crazy. But let me know what y'all all thought. Tell me in the comments, like, what I'm sure for a lot of you, it's the whole celebration, but what is like your most favorite part of the celebration. For those of you that have to celebrate the Hogmanay out there, what's your favorite part of it? If so, all of it, just let me know down in the comments. And hit the like button if you liked it. Please hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell for more videos whenever they become available. I try to get some done later in the week. I haven't really stuck to a strict schedule yet because I've had, things happen in life, things come up, and I just get thrown off. But I'm trying to get a more sustainable schedule now. But we'll see what happens, and I'll let you guys know for sure. But that was awesome. Keep the suggestions coming, y'all. Thanks to my friend in the UK for suggesting this, buddy. I appreciate it. Shout out to you, and a shout out to anybody who will. If you suggest a video, you'll get a shout out. And let me know what you think. And until the next one, y'all. This is Johnny Wheeler, and I'm out.